Good afternoon, District 73. Once again, I'm having technical difficulties. I couldn't get the live stream to work on my laptop. It kept saying I was denying the camera, but I was definitely not denying the camera. So here I am on my cell phone. It's me and the ducks out here today. I just let them out of their pen and they are just over here in front of the porch quacking up a delight right now. So if you hear those strange noises, that's what it is. So anyway, I'm Kim McCarthy. I'm the Democratic candidate for state representative for District 73 here in Greene County, which includes the cities of Fairborn, Beavercreek, and Bellbrook, the village of Yellow Springs, and the townships that surround those entities. So I've been coming to you live from my porch, my front porch, on a Friday at noon, in what feels like many months now, but I think I started it in July. This was an attempt to connect with voters, seeing as though we're in a pandemic situation and much of the normal channels for connection are just not there. So this is my second last one. We are almost at the election. It's been a long one, as I'm sure 2020, as you know, has been long for everyone. So throwing in a run for office as a Democrat in an extremely red district, you know, it's had its moments for sure, but I will be grateful for it to be over, as I'm sure all of you will be as well. We obviously have more than just my race on the ballot. We have a very important presidential race as well that is obviously consuming a lot of energy of the country, rightfully so. So we may not know the results, you know, right away, but I'm sure the boards of election are doing all they can to get us the results as quickly as possible. So, just a quick update on the campaign. It's the same thing, really. We're continuing our rallies, our street sign rallies on the side of the road in Bellbrook at 1, Beavercreek at 2 o'clock, and Fairborn at 3 o'clock. So if you want to come out for an hour or all three, you are welcome. That's tomorrow afternoon. It's a beautiful day today. I hope tomorrow is going to be the same way. And then Sunday afternoons, we'll be doing lit drops. We're going to be doing those in Fairborn. So that starts at 1 o'clock. So if you want to get some good walking in for a couple of hours or even an hour, we just put these door hangers on the doors and keep moving. So you don't have to interact with people, although I always love it when I do happen to run into someone. So yeah, that's it. We had a big week this week, with yesterday being the pre-general campaign filing report deadline, and we outraised our opponent by just over $1,000. So yay for that. And I think more significantly, you know, obviously he's going to have access to a lot more money than I am, but when you look at the number of individual donations to our campaign, we had 398 individual donations from mainly people in the district, but we had from across Ohio, we had some from out of state, people who found my campaign. I don't even know who they are, but we got amounts big and small, and yeah, 398. My opponent had 59 total. So obviously he doesn't have the same level of support as we do. And I think this is pretty obvious why. I mean, we're talking about working on issues to make people's lives better. And he's literally been missing in action. Not saying much, pretty much assuming he's the Republican, he's going to win the seat. So, you know, we don't want a party or any kind of outside group outside of Greene County choosing our candidates for us. We as the voters need to be doing that. And I think that is what our campaign represents. I've taken a pledge to not take corporate PAC money. That would have meant that I wouldn't have taken money from First Energy. Mr. Lampton did, although, full disclosure, he did donate it to charity like we asked, together with the $13,000 and change that Householder gave him. He did distribute that to 7 different charities across Greene County. We were able to see that yesterday in the campaign finance report as well. So one of the big things that stood out on his report was that he got a $13,000 donation. Now, let me tell you, that is a huge donation. Those kind of donations don't just come along. The maximum is $13,000 and change. I won't get into the numbers, but he got $13,000 even from Political Education Patterns, which is the PAC from the International Union of Operating Engineers, which I guess in part is the union that the workers at nuclear power plants are engaged with. So that group, unfortunately, was named in a lot of the reporting that came out around the HB6 scandal because they contributed $400,000 to Generation Now, which is the PAC run by Householder that was working against HB6 being revoked. And they worked to get HB6 passed. So he's taken money from them again. Extremely disappointing. He got 13 grand from them in the first cycle as well, split over 2 amounts. But yeah, not a good sign. And it actually explains why he was defending HB6, the bill itself, during the Right State Candidates Forum on Thursday. So it was Wednesday night. We had a forum online with the Right State students, and they asked him about HB6, and he was trying to say that it wasn't that bad a bill, that maybe it shouldn't be revoked, because if it's revoked, our utility costs will go up for people. But in reality, we are going to be paying $1.3 billion of our money to First Energy, or Energy Harbor, I think they're called now. And while they're saying that our bill will go down because they removed the surcharges that were going towards renewable energy. So technically, our bills are going down, but our money is being diverted into the hands of a company that's gone bankrupt repeatedly and who is not investing in their power plants. And it's going towards dirty energy and not going towards clean energy. And if it really was such a great bill for consumers, why did they have to spend $60 million and have this massive bribery scandal to get it passed? Right? If it was that good a bill, why did they have to go to that much effort to get it passed? They had public testimony against it repeatedly. Nobody was for this bill. So, yeah, follow the money, huh? If I'm elected, I'm going to be pushing to repeal HB6. No questions asked. So, I'm running for this seat because I just really think we can do better than what we have now. We have been running under a Republican rule for decades. We are running under their trickle-down economics theory, which believes that if we give more money to the people at the top, and we've done that through tax breaks and loopholes to the tune of $6 billion a year, they believe if we give them all that money that will trickle down to the rest of us. And that is the most, it's been categorically proven over and over that that theory does not work. And it's why we're sitting at the largest income inequality gap that our country has ever seen. So, I see a question, and I'm going to get to that, actually. So my belief is when we invest in our community and invest in everyone, that provides opportunity for everyone, and that grows our economy. We put more money into the hands of more people. People have money to spend at those small businesses. People aren't investing all their money into healthcare costs. People aren't investing all their money into student loan. They can spend that money in the economy and benefit everyone. And, you know, a lot of what I believe comes from my experience in Australia, like I spoke about last week. You know, I saw how my parents were able to lift themselves up from the working class to a higher class because of the investment that the Australian government did or had in the people of my country and my community. So, you know, things like universal health care, paid family leave, affordable education. These are things that are standard in every other modern country in the world. And when we look at what my opponent wants to have as the basis of his campaign. He did actually speak about a few things at the Right State Forum. It was quite enlightening, because we haven't really had much interaction, and I haven't really even seen him answer any questions yet. So when he talked about opening up the state, he referred to some restaurants that were upset that bars were closing down at 10 p.m. Now, I've seen the local people that have been gathering, trying to get the governor's attention on that. And, you know, I understand, and I'm glad that they're peacefully protesting out there for what they want to see happen. But we can't separate controlling the virus and our economic well-being. We have to get the virus under control if we want to have a healthy economy. It has to happen first. And again, I'm watching my daughter out in Australia, and I've seen the amazing work they've done out there and how they've actually been able to contain the virus, and things are opening back up. But again, they had that really strong level of social support, so people weren't starving, slipping into poverty, getting evicted during that time. So we've done quite a few things wrong, and you know, right now as we sit, the rate is going up and up right now, the highest daily infection rate that we've had, and I just don't know. I don't know how this is going to end. I really hope that we can get control on it, and people, you know, stay out of large groups, wear their masks everywhere. But we need widespread testing, and we need contact tracing, which we have not had either of those things yet. So we're waiting. So back to what my opponent was standing for. He says he stands for business. He stands for the work, employers, and reducing regulations, cutting red tape. Now, I'd really like to know exactly what he means by that, because I'm an accountant. I've had my own business for 20 years. I am in charge of a business right now. The whole financial and reporting side of it is my responsibility, and I'm just not sure what red tape there is. I think it's a very reasonable and not oppressive amount of recording, and I'm not quite sure what he's talking about. To me, that seems to indicate if we're going to cut things, we're going to cut protections for workers, is what he's leaning towards. Cutting taxes. Again, we need taxes to have a successful society. We can't just keep cutting taxes. We need to have regulations in place so that employees are protected. Right now, we have frontline workers that don't have specific and enforceable safety rules for them. They don't have paid leave that would allow them, if they got sick, to stay home and not continue to come into work and spread it. We need to have a system where employees are treated with respect. We can't just continue to cut things so that employees have less and less and less. We have a minimum wage that keeps people in poverty. We have to recognize that healthy and happy employees are what makes a business run well. That's the bottom line. We have to treat our workers with respect and give them the tools they need to have a successful career and life. We can't just keep cutting regulations, because in any society there's a power structure, and if you try to, well, I'm getting into the reducing government. Sorry, this is his next thing, a small government. He wants to reduce government. There's a power structure always, and if we have a small government, then business steps in to fill that void. And a business has no accountability to the voters. A government does. And it's not so much about the size of the government, it's the quality of the government. We need a good government, not a bad government like we see right now in Columbus. So this small government thing really annoys me. A government is meant to protect the people who live here and provide an opportunity for them to reach their full potential. We need investment in the people. We do not need corporations running our society, because then everything is monetized, and you know how that's going to turn out. Another thing he spoke about, people asked him on Wednesday about the recent abortion bills that have gone through, specifically the one that was one of the most restrictive that we've seen here, which also included provisions for a procedure that does not actually exist, a medical procedure that doesn't exist. And Mr. Lampton said that he would vote for a bill like that, regardless of whether it's an actual procedure or not. That his stance is he's pro-life, and it's his religious belief, and that's what he's standing behind. Religious beliefs do not belong in our government. Women's reproductive health care is a science, is a medical, it's a practice, right? It's a medical specialty that helps keep women healthy. And different reproductive procedures are part of that. For me, if we want to reduce abortion, we need to provide a society that helps do that. We need access to it. We need education. We need reproductive care. We need child care, I'm saying. We do need child care as well, but we need birth control. And when you look at why women choose abortion, the number one reason is poverty. So we need to create a society where less women are living in poverty and feeling forced to make this choice. Look, it's their choice to make. This is one of the biggest decisions that anyone can make in their lives, to have a family. A small government, to me, means that we allow women and their doctor and their families to make those decisions for themselves. Because banning abortion doesn't save lives. It puts women's lives at risk. There's a reason that this went before the Supreme Court back in the 70s. Because women were dying. If we want to reduce abortion, we need to look at what works, and that is what we need to do. We don't need to remove access to it. Women have a right to privacy. We have a right to make our own decisions for ourselves. And there is nothing more frustrating as a woman than sitting here and watching, luckily it was via a screen, but watching a man tell me and my fellow women that this is his stance and he wants to become in charge of our reproductive choices. I'm beside myself. I can't believe how we have got to this point where men think that they know better than what we do. And that doctors can't decide with a woman what is best for them. They have no business being in the middle of that decision. And that's what the Supreme Court ruled. And when they start bringing forward these bills about replanting ectopic pregnancies into a uterus, what is going on here? We have so many real issues that we should be focusing on, and instead these hot button issues that they think are going to get them votes is what they focus on. How does a pro-life candidate support guns in school? How is a pro-life candidate endorsed by the NRA, who we know is basically a fraudulent organization now, under investigation, because of embezzlement, that they've criminal activity going through the NRA. I want to see some legitimate platform stances from Republicans in Ohio. Not these ones that are infringing on people's rights, and not what people care about, right? People care about why their property taxes are going through the roof. People care about why our schools no longer have STEM classes. People worry about why Ohio has the 45th highest level of student debt in the nation. We need to create a society that invests in these things that makes people's lives better. We've got to stop with these hot button issues becoming a priority and wasting all our legislative time on bills that will never hold up in court. I'm over it. I know you all too. All right, so I see Tessa asked a question, how do we protect reproductive freedom and abortion rights in Ohio? We elect people like me. You know, there's a whole bunch of us out there trying to get elected so that we can stop this constant attack on us. You know, we have to keep putting on the pressure to our elected officials and say, we will not take this. We deserve so much better. Get out of our doctor's waiting room, please. Hi, Jim. I see you there. All right, so what else do I have to talk about? Oh, a few other points in regards to supporting a woman who is pregnant. You know, we have no paid family leave here. We have one of the highest maternal death rates in the country because of lack of access to health care, especially for women of color. Our child care situation is a mess in comparison to any other modern country. Governments believe in investing in things like that so that women have the ability to go out and earn a living and have a fulfilling life that has a nice balance of motherhood and career. There's so many things we could be doing better. All right, so I guess that's probably about it for me. Again, we're really pleased with what's happening with the campaign finance reports. Thank you so much to everyone who donated. If you were part of that 398, and I think if we look at the entire campaign, we're up to about 600 individual donations from the beginning. So that is amazing. We are doing what we need to do. Our flyers or our mailers are out there. We've got some radio ads, we've got social media ads, and we are trying to spread the word on our campaign as much as we can. And if you can do that as well with your friends and family, we appreciate it greatly. You know, we did really well in 2018. We're only going to do better this year. We've had a lot more exposure to different groups, and at this point, we're just going to have to cross our fingers and hope that it's enough. But, you know, whether I win or lose here, running this campaign has always been about more than that. We need people talking about how we can make people's lives better. You know, we have no campaigning normally coming from Republicans. And obviously the corruption issue is huge because none of these issues will be dealt with if we have people who are running around Columbus doing what First Energy tells them to, or whichever other entity is influencing our politicians and having them write laws that increase their profits. Because anytime you write a law to increase profits for a particular group, the environment and the people lose every time. So we have to change that. All right, well, thank you everyone for listening. It's my second last week, like I said. But yeah, I'm ready for this to be over. I'm so proud of everything we've done, and I'm so proud of everyone who's helped support this campaign. So enjoy your day. It's a beautiful one out there. We won't have too many of them left, and your weekend as well. And we'll see you here for our last one next Friday. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.